I cover capture cards often. And when I say often, I mean I have things from Elgato, 4K 60 Pro Cam Link, the HD60S, the HD60 Pro, all the way to budget things like a Walmart Cam Link, the Mirrorbox capture card, and so many others. I have covered so many capture cards on this channel. I really feel like I can speak to the comments that keep popping up on my channel, like, what capture card, Brandon, should I buy with my money? Here are my specs. And I get this all the time. So let's go ahead and talk about what each capture card has, what you should probably be looking for, and we'll just break it down by console. And let's just make one video that solves all of those questions and gives you everything you need. And then also kind of talk about the things you don't need, because the truth is you could just buy the most expensive card and be set, but you could also probably buy the cheaper one and get everything that you need and spend the rest of that money on something else, like some upgraded overlays from On.tv. On.tv is your one-stop shop to upgrade your entire stream with overlays, graphics, emotes, animated stuff, all of that. Let me tell you that they just actually released their animated emote customized tool. It's really cool. You've been able to customize static emotes for a while, but now you can go and create custom animated emotes for your stream. They just released a whole suite of Call of Duty overlay packages. Either way, go check it out at own.gg/Cyrus and use my coupon code Cyrus to get 50% off your entire order. Go check out how you can upgrade your streaming experience today. All right, now that we're past that, let's talk about capture cards and what you really need. The truth is, I would break the capture cards up into maybe like 3 different segments. Number 1, the cam links. Number 2, your cheap budget or just 1080p 60 captures. And then number 3 would be your more expensive kind of, I need a capture card that will take in high refresh or high resolution. So let's talk about these capture cards and talk about the options that you have, prices that you can get, and what you should probably look into. All right, number 1 is the Cam Link. Now, what I have in front of me right now is actually the Walmart Cam Link. This thing is actually not awful. And when I say not awful, I really mean it's amazing. This will go in my bag and has been in my bag consistently. And I will always travel with this Cam Link because, oh my God, it's amazing. Not to say I'm not using the Elgato Cam Link right now. It's actually what this is being recorded off of. But this thing is cool and actually does better than that Cam Link. So let me go ahead and break it down. If you don't know what a Cam Link is, Cam Links are usually for people who are using like a DSLR camera, a mirrorless, a GoPro. They're using that to connect to their streaming PC or to their main PC to be able to capture something like this. Most people looking at this want a 4K capture card so that they can actually bring in the best signal possible and put it on your stream. Even though you're going to be this little bitty baby small box down in the corner, everyone wants really good quality. So this Vivitar Walmart one actually captures up to 4K 60. It's crazy. It does better than the 4K 30 that you get on the Cam Link. It does 4K 60. On this little bitty capture card, it costs 20 bucks. All day, every day, I will recommend you pick up this Walmart capture card over the Elgato any day. However, some of you might say, but you don't get flashback recording. Sure, but you also have replay buffer and OBS, which is almost the exact same thing. So is it really worth it when you can get a free tool through OBS to do the same thing and spend $100 less? If you're speaking about what you shoot for a Cam Link, go look up this Walmart one. It's 20 bucks. And if you don't want to grab this one or can't find it, check the description. I'll leave a couple alternatives that I've recommended and actually covered in a video talking about the quality of all 3. I'll link that video down beside this one so you can check it out as well. All right, section 2 is going to be your 1080p capture cards. Now, there are a slew of these, and when COVID hit, so many manufacturers started releasing these. Things like the Mirrorbox, which I have to say, Mirrorbox releases some pretty awesome capture cards. I've covered 3 of their capture cards now. I bought, I think, 2 with my own money, and then Mirrorbox actually sent me 1 out. And I just can tell you, this isn't me speaking like they're sponsoring or paying for this at all. This is literally the best budget capture card for less than $40. This one goes in my go bag if I ever need to capture a console. this one goes with me. But there's so many options that come into play here. These 1080p capture cards, some of them pass through 4K, some of them pass through 4K 60, some of them pass through HDR, some of them pass through whatever. Let's talk about which console I would get on which card. If you're a person who is actually playing on Nintendo Switch and you're trying to capture your Nintendo Switch or even your Steam Deck for that matter, and you're trying to capture something that is small like that, 100% of the time I would go with something like the Mirror Box. I absolutely love this card. I can't oversell it enough. But for less than $40, you get USB 3, 1080p 60 capture with over 4K pass through. And by the way, let me just go ahead and debunk one more thing. Instant game view for Elgato capture cards sounds like a really awesome thing, but let me just go ahead and also debunk that. It is not zero latency when you capture with Elgato. I can literally prove it. If you want that, make a comment in the description. I can go ahead and show you that there's almost as much latency on an Elgato capture card as there is on this Mirror Box. All right, if you're in the Xbox One era, you're still playing on an Xbox One or a PS4, I would recommend these capture cards for that. You're not able to actually play above 60 frames per second on any game on those consoles, even though you can actually support 120 hertz through those consoles, but you really only get that in the menu, not actually on any kind of gameplay. So a 1080p capture card with 4K pass-through so that you can still play in 4K, that would be great. What are the cards I'd recommend for those? I would probably go either the Mirror Box to get started, but these Elgato capture cards do pass through 4K 60, and I would recommend you be able to do that. The Mirror Box is limited to 4K 30, which is a limitation again, but for these, if you're going to get the HD60S, just know Just know that it captures through USB-C on the end, and you get the option of actually sending audio into the capture card, kind of like if you had an external mic or something. And then also with the HD60 Pro, this one is a PCIe card, goes into a by one lane. If you have a PC and can throw it in, I recommend you do this so that you can actually have it in multiple sources throughout your PC. This is probably the really good recommendation. I picked this up for the same price I did this one, used 80 bucks. Don't buy this one brand new. That's way too expensive. If you're gonna do that, just go ahead and buy something that's more expensive like the 4K 60 Pro and be done. But you can get these used on your local market. I picked them up off Facebook Marketplace. These are the way to go for Xbox One as well as the PS4. All right, now we're in the PS5 Xbox Series area, and also we're gonna go ahead and lump in streaming PC, because the truth is, if you're going to be using a streaming PC, you're going to be kind of in the same boat as these consoles. That does not mean that any of these other cards don't work. Just know that they're limited to 60 frames per second on pass-through, which means that you can't run high refresh. Also, you don't get HDR on most of these. Some of these you do. I think the HD60S doesn't, but the S Plus does. So just make sure you look at each specific card. If you want HDR, not all of them support it, and some of them don't support tone mapping. But when it comes to the series as well as the PS5, I would recommend that you go ahead and spend the extra money and get the Elgato HD60X, the AverMedia Live Gamer Duo, or grabbing something like the new NZXT cards that just released. All of them support high refresh pass-through, as well as capturing a little bit higher. When it comes to the 4K 60 Pro, that's the one that's actually a PCIe card. I'm pointing to it right here. That thing is awesome, passes through 1440p, 144 hertz if you're a person using it for a streaming rig, even 4K 60. It's a great card. There are actual USB cards that you can use. Just know that they also need USB 3.1 or USB Type-C to be able to use. So that really matters, and it matters what port you plug into. So to recap, if you're a person that's trying to capture your fancy camera and you're trying to put it on there, get a cam link that is not the Elgato cam link. Get a Walmart one. Oh my gosh, it's $20. It's absolutely amazing. Grab this one. promise you, you won't be disappointed. If you're an Xbox One or a PS4 user, get a 1080p capture card, something like the Mira box, which is what I would definitely recommend, $40. Or if you get a really good deal on an Elgato, go for it. I mean, that's fantastic. Or if you want it to be dedicated in your system, there are a couple PCIe by 1 cards that are in this price range that are just like the HC60 Pro. However, I haven't tested all of them, so I'm not going to recommend them. But if you can find it and see some good stats on them and some good reviews, check it out. Let me know if you do, and I'll also pick one up and do a review if we need. And if you're a PS5 or an Xbox Series user and you want high refresh as well as high resolution to be able to capture, you're gonna have to get 4K 60 Pro, the PCIe by 4 lane, or you're going to have to get something like the new NZXT cards, an Elgato HD60X, which just released, or you're going to have to get something like the Live Gamer Duo from AverMedia. All great cards, but you're talking about upwards of $200 at that point, and you're paying the premium to get high refresh and high resolution. That's just what it is. If you're still trying to capture 4K, but streaming to Twitch in 1080p, you're not really gaining too much. So just, if that's your worry of capturing 4K, because I'm gonna make really awesome videos, but your computer can't even encode it, think about priorities of what you're picking up. Just throwing that out there. I really hope this video added value to you, and if it did, make sure you give it a like. It really helps out the channel and promotes this video for other people to see it. And check out this video that I'll put right over there. This is where I actually talk about that Walmart cam link and compare it to the other two. I promise you, it is worth seeing side by side. It's crazy how good something that is $20 compares to $120 from Elgato. It's nuts. Go check that video out.